Hey YouTubers, how you doing? Don't know if anybody is around and feels like talking. I know it's Friday afternoon. Um, so who knows? But I was just sitting here. I was outside. It was nice out. I went for a ride, and now I'm home. I miss, Friday nights or working, like Friday days, Friday nights, whatever. But I don't know. Been really warm lately, huh? I mean, you go outside and you expect it to be just like spring, but it's like it's already hopping into summer almost, where it's just amazingly warm already. Um, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love the weather, but it's just makes you wonder how the summer is gonna be. I mean, what are we looking at? Are we looking at like 100-degree weather or what? I really have got to figure out how to get these cat traction posts put together, because the thing is they're gonna have the posts all scratched up, because I was able to screw those in, but then I couldn't figure out how to get the rest of it done. They actually have their own bedroom. My cat. Huh. They're crazy. They got their own room. Not, but yes, it's a little windy out. But I just came in their room. You guys gotta learn to start cleaning up your room. I mean, my God, all you guys do is eat and bother me and chase each other around. And basically, this guy's got a nice Jeep across the way. It's the, it's like soft top. It's a double, double. He's got like the skidoo and everything. All the toys. I can see the Jeep out the window. But I've never seen one like that. The top of it is soft top. It's a four door Jeep, like a real Jeep. And he always went to four door too, I think, for a Jeep. And they never lose their value. I love a Jeep. Let me just tell you. That would be my dream. But it it like the top of it is soft, and he can bring it back automatically. Like mine, like it's a hard top convertible, and I have to press the button. His is kind of the same. Like it's an automatic thing where you press the button, and it goes back itself, like moves itself, kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. Windy out there, that's for sure. I was just talking to my daughter. The last time that the Big E, which is the Eastern States Exposition, it's a great fair. I mean, my God. I knew when, see, they put the casino in downtown. First, they wanted to put it on the Eastern States Exposition ground, which would have just, but what they ended up doing was, so, the towns took a vote, and they voted no for the casino, for it being anywhere, even in adjoining towns. Uh, but what they did was they did another vote. Now, if it's already been voted out once, why do they get to have another vote pushing it through? Which is what happened. So it gets pushed through. So they build this casino. Then suddenly, the next year, the MGM, the Eastern States Exposition, everything there now is sponsored by MGM. So the concerts then that used to all be like free, or they were like by Comcast and they were a lot cheaper. Now they're all real expensive. So the thing with the Big E is they used to have some, free performers. Like everybody there used to be free. What they would have, where they have the concerts now, um, is let's see that. What do you got? What do you got? What are you eating? What are you eating? Uh, God knows what he eats, man. You just don't even know. Dogs, they just have no, no matter like how protective some dogs are, telling you, you go to hand them some food, and they'll be like, yeah, I'll be back to attack you later. Thanks for the baloney, you know? I mean, I'm telling you, my dog, he's all like protective. He'll be barking, barking, barking at people. I'm telling you, if they had a hot dog or something, he'd be like, yeah, go ahead, you can have her. Yeah, honest to God, he would be. Today I went to make my coffee. This is the first time I've ever done this. Now, and don't anybody blame it on chemo brain, because there's no chemo brain. I've seen people do it. My friend did it at the library one time with the Keurig there. Freaking put the, you put the cup in and press the button, and I forgot to put a cup under it. Thankfully, I was standing right there, though. I was able to stop it, but I had like a paper towel right there, so it was kind of just pouring out of the paper towel. But still, I was like, yeah. I like a Keurig. I like having a Keurig. They're nice and easy. But keep saying something about descaling. I just press the button. Not now. Mm-mm. Just like, your phone, when it's always saying, needs to be updated, or your 3 days from the update, things like that. But it like takes forever, and then like eventually it just shuts you off in the middle of something that you're doing and just starts upgrading it for hours. Doesn't give you any notice whatsoever, and you're like, oh, what the fuck, you know? So I've really been enjoying the guests on the live streams that sometimes will join. I like that. I think that's good. It shows support for other channels. It bothers me sometimes because, like, I'll go to other channels, even if I can't stay, but there's somebody, that I support. I'll stop in if they're having like a live stream, and I'll say, just stopping in to say hi and hitting that thumbs up button, you know? And nobody can deny that there's absolutely somebody out there that is like, I don't even care if this girl is making videos about cancer. I don't care if this girl makes a video about a baby that needs help. I don't care what this girl makes a video about. I'm making sure that, like if there's 15 thumbs up and 15 thumbs down, and somebody puts that 16th thumbs up, you can be guaranteed that immediately there'll be a 16 thumbs down. I mean, there's somebody who just sits there at their computer waiting for me to put up a video just to hit thumbs down within the first second. So it's just ridiculous. You know damn well 39 people don't dislike somebody's cancer vlog. I mean, that's just some asshole. I know who it probably is. I have an idea of who, yeah, maybe there's a few people who would hit dislike. Absolutely not 39 people are disliking a fucking cancer log. That's just a fucking loser. Made fucking 30 stock accounts just to fucking dislike people's videos they don't like. And you can tell if you go to the people that they don't like, because I have an idea of who it could be. Um, those people have, no, they have dislikes just like me. So it's not a big deal, but it's just ridiculous. It borders on the edge of pathetic. You know what I mean? It's fine. If you don't like my video, you don't like my video. If you don't like me, you don't like me. But making effort like to actually turn their notifications on to dislike it is just crazy. Be nice though if you guys could share this out, maybe bring up my subscribers numbers, because that'd be cool. I noticed I lost about 6 subscribers in the last week, which I don't know if those are just like, because I'm not really offensive to people. I don't care what people say. I'm not. I don't. I try to stay out of the drama. I don't know if you noticed my live streams are, more topic based than just getting on there to, play recordings from 2014 of something saying, remember back 7 years ago when this person did that and this person did that. I mean, how far can you reach back and keep looking for things that somebody did wrong if they're not giving you anything fresh? I mean, how long? That's like how many years of your life has somebody spent just sitting there recording somebody so that 7 years later they can say, yeah, but look at this. Oh, you should see it. I've got the greatest recording collection of this person you can find. You know what that is? That's somebody who 6 years ago or 7 years ago, when they started making their freaking recordings, had the mindset that I'm going to use these to harass people. They're not making recordings of good things. They're making recordings of things that they can edit together and try to harass somebody. For that many years, that's obsession. Really, that's somebody who's obsessed with somebody. I'm sorry. Even if that person's a female and the other person is a female, if you've been making recordings of that person for the last over 5 years, going on almost 10, then you are obsessed. Obsessed with that person. You like them more than you know. That is for certain. You might have some deep buried secret you don't want people to know. All I'm saying is, if you've been making recordings of them, like they've been your main topic of concern for the last almost 10 years, and every live stream you make is about that person, you might have a little crush on that person, because they are your world, and that's for sure. That's what you think about day and night. I know a few people who think about a certain person day and night. And I'm just thinking, you still might have some posters at home and shit. Because you just figure they can't get enough of this girl. And the other girls, either girl, they can't get enough of. Either girl. Every live stream they do is about them. And I mean, they got recordings that they have kept and saved. So they probably bought second devices to make those. Hey, Lulu. Not too much. How you doing? How you doing, girl? I haven't seen you for a little while. Where you been? What you been up to? I'm lost and not up to date in the YouTube world. Has been super busy. I know. I was talking about, and I'm trying to do it without saying names, but I was talking about how some people will like make recordings of people, but their recordings are not like from just like a few days ago. They'll be from like 8 years ago. right? And every live stream they make is about, this particular person. And I'm thinking, that's not hatred. That's almost like obsession, like a little crush or something. Whether it's a girl doing it about another girl, which it is, it's like when a particular group of women doing about two particular women. And they're going back in live streams and recordings of from like 8 years ago. You're holding on to shit like that for that long, and your every live stream is like based on these people. That borders on like a little bit of an obsession. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Craziness. If you're like making recordings from that long ago and hanging on to them, the fact that you're even making these recordings, it shows like ill intent, really, if you think about it, it really does. How's the weather? You're in Canada, right? How's the weather been, Lulu? It was nice here. I keep meaning to download a video I made yesterday. Um, it's honestly, I'm actually bored of all the drama, especially the drama I know nothing. I know, right? And that's why my channel, the live streams, I try to make them topic based. This is a random one, and nobody was here, so I was just rambling. but now you're here, so everything's better. No, really, I mean that because I was rambling. But yeah, I'm trying to make this particular, my stuff, um, not based on drama, more like topic based when I do a live stream and everything. This was random. I didn't have any topic. It just boom came on. Um, oh, I know. Thank you, Lou. Oh, hi, Pentagon. Yeah, I have to go to the surgeon now and consult with the surgeon, and then they're gonna do, like a scan to see, how much it's shrunk, what they should do for surgery. I'm really torn because I feel fine. I really do. I think that's part of the problem. I mean, is that I gained 10 pounds, Lulu. Yeah, I gained 10 pounds. I went from 125 to 135 yesterday when they weighed me. And when I started the chemo, before I started, I should say, when I was diagnosed, people were like, because I've always been pretty thin, and because I'm 5'7", so people were like, well, eat, because you're definitely gonna, not feel like eating with the chemo. You're gonna, probably lose weight, so you don't want to be real skinny, all this shit. That didn't happen. I mean, no, I know that's what I mean. Like, I would say the worst part of the chemo, for starters, it was not in a vanity way of, well, it's the anticipation. Okay. That's scary. Um, it was, you know, then of course, I'm not in a vanity way. I liked my hair though. And when it came out, it didn't come out like gradual. It came out where, it didn't come out, gradual. It came out like I had, like I got that haircut. I saw a girl doing a video yesterday. She was doing, about the hair loss of chemo. Um, oh, I know, right, Lulu? That is so bittersweet of the fact that for the last, what, 5 or 6 months, I mean, because I started chemo in October, it's, the end of March, so 6 months, right, of this, um, that, just, it's a bittersweet thing because, uh, they were all so nice and so kind. And at first, they didn't think that I'd be, able to keep it up. Like, uh, just, I don't know. They're so sweet. They were really sweet, and they were just always so happy, like, to see me show. And then the other day, when they actually were like, "Oh, you're laughing too loud. Can you keep it down?" And I thought, not many people are there laugh, but I know some really good people, and um, no, it doesn't mean that. Yeah, it means that when I talk to my oncologist, and I like him because what he'll do is he'll sit there, on the same, like, eye level to you. He looks you in the eye. I heard so much good things about him. It made me feel secure. Okay, their professionalism, including the nurses in the infusion that did the chemotherapy, and him himself, and hearing the reviews and everything, and his personality. Like, when you go to the doctors and you wait in the waiting room, and then you get called in, and then you wait in the exam room, you wait for the appointment, kind of thing. Well, he's always in there really fast. And, like, he comes as soon as you, like, she'll take your vitals, and then, because every 2 weeks, first it would be every week that he would do, I'd have an appointment with him. And then it became every 2 weeks. So, but anyway, you looked at it, after she would take my vitals, then, she'd close the door, say, "Doctor will be right in." He'd be right in. And then I'd say, "Damn, you're fast. I didn't even have time to go on the internet." Right? I'm sitting there ready to play my game, and I just started, and I'm like, oh, shoving it under my coat, being like, oh, I'm gonna lose that level. Thanks a lot for being quick. But anyway, but he said to me, "I don't like to make my patients wait." He said, "Because I feel like they wait all the time. They wait for an appointment, they wait for results, they wait out in the waiting room." He said, "So once they get in here, I don't like to make them. I think they wait enough." So I thought that was a really good thing for as a doctor to say. Um, so, and I heard a lot of great things about him. So now what goes on is that the same surgeon who, now this is the thing, uh, I didn't quite understand, I guess, why they would send me in the beginning, when the first, like, after I'd gone to my regular gynecologist, and then they sent me for the mammogram. Then it was for, I think it's the ultrasound or something of, where it is the ultrasound of my boob, right? Then where, they say, good look, I could see it in the screen, you got that screen, they aim it towards you. You could see it. It was really very nice. So then, the, doctor comes, says, "Okay, well, what do we want to do? A biopsy now?" Then, of course, they take you in that room, uh, and tell you, yeah. So then, they made an appointment with the surgeon for me. But I think at that point, you already knew how big it was. So here I have to wait for an appointment with the surgeon
to send me to the oncologist, which seemed, that was like a waste of time in between. Like, why not just send me to the oncologist and get that chemo going, and then go to the surgeon? Thank you. I appreciate that, Pentagon. I really do. I appreciate that. Um, so, yeah, and I'm learning a lot about myself, about chemo. I did not know that they put a port. I know in the old days, chemo was different. Like, I didn't know, I don't think that I'm grateful that they put a port in, because let me tell you, I have very small veins, not in my hands, unfortunately, like the nurse said, well, you get these ginormous veins in your hands. And I know, I get them from my mother. But thing is, when you get like, a needle in your hand, which usually that's where they'll go through, before I got the port, like if I ever had something in blood or whatever. But as for like veins, I don't have good veins for stuff like that. Like I could never be a junkie or something. I remember one time I had started a job at a kidney center, and they would do a blood test, like right there on site. And so, they had me in the dialysis room behind the nurses station. And I remember feeling her like digging around in my arm with this needle looking for a vein. I was 19 years old. Next thing, I woke up on the floor. It was like my second day on the job. And I'm passed out. Fucking, the lady said, one of the other nurses said she walked by, saw feet sticking out from behind this desk, thought it was one of those CPR dummies. But so the port, that's a good thing, because they access the port to do my chemotherapy and like to do the blood test and everything. My white blood cell count was up. That's good. So I didn't have to go back today and get the shot. So that's always good, because it was really becoming so tedious. But you want to talk tedious? Radiation is every day for 5 weeks. Every day for 5 weeks. I mean, my God. And the thought that disability denied me. I mean, 6 months of chemotherapy. I was there like 3 times a week, because I'd have to go for my blood work the day before, then chemo the next day, and then usually back for that shot the following day. Now, when they were using the first blend of chemo, it wasn't about like having to go for the shot if my white blood cell count was low. For some reason, I had to go for the shot every that time after the first blend of chemo that they were using. Then when they switched to Taxol, which started to cause the neuropathy in my hands and feet. Now, let me tell you something about neuropathy. There's people who suffer from neuropathy, and I never like really knew much about neuropathy. It's like numbing. But when you can't feel your feet, it makes your legs feel like lead. It really does. My legs would feel like lead lately. Just so tired. I felt bad. I had met my daughter the other day. Yeah, who got disability for addiction reasons. I know. You know what they told me, Lulu? They said, well, you may not be able to do your old job, but you certainly can get another one. Really? I mean, first of all, it's during a time when a lot of places are closed down and jobs are scarce. Second of all, where's going to hire me knowing that 3 days out of a week I had doctor's appointments plus chemotherapy. I mean, for hours. Second of all, radiation is every single day for 5 days. Third of all, I'm gonna walk into places, fill in our application, and I'm bald, and then I have neuropathy, can't feel my hands and feet. What job? What job? I mean, really? Like, my doctor even said, like, with the neuropathy and my feet and my legs feeling like lead and everything, that maybe that means that my body has taken enough chemo. So he brought it down from 80 to 60, whatever that means. I don't know. And it was coming to an end anyway. So that's good. I'm scared about the surgery because I'm like, okay, like, being by yourself when you have nobody, you guys are who I discuss these things with. I hate to say that, that seems like putting such a burden on people, but, you guys are who I talk to about this. And I'm glad you're talking to me about it, Lulu, because sometimes I feel like people don't want to hear about it because, maybe they think I am playing the victim. I'm not playing the victim. This is my life. This is my reality. If I can't talk about it, that means I have to make all my decisions on my own. Like, do I get a mastectomy? I mean, they may say I have to have one, you know? Unbelievable. I'm at the third time of being denied, and now they're sending me to some reviewer or whatever. Um, yeah, I'll go. Because, the thing is to be paying into Social Security disability. I paid into that. You know, I worked I've been working since I was 15 years old. I mean, so when I need it, I can't use it. So they get to collect the interest off it all this time, off my money that I could have used then, because I certainly can't use it now, evidently. They don't let me. So where do they get the right to say you have to give this money, but we don't have to allow you to have it when you need it? That's crazy. It's crazy for me to say, like, I really can't believe that. See, I've been able to pay my rent and stuff out of the GoFundMe money, thankfully. Um, I have been fighting for 3 years now for my disability. What is your disability? I'm sorry, disability, Pentagon, if you don't mind me asking. Yeah, I mean, she was like, well, I gotta get a little off track. Oh, the GoFundMe, paying the rent out of that and everything. Yeah, fortunately, and thank you for people. 'Cause if it wasn't for that, like my daughter will just send send the rent right off. 2 days ago she just paid my car insurance right out of she's got the account set up, everything. My daughter is not, she makes her own money. She makes good money. She's not the type that anybody would have to think, oh, she keeps the accounting of it all. She's very, very responsible, productive citizen. So, I trust her. I have learning disability and injured back, which makes me not to work. Yeah, what country are you in? Are you in the US? Because I would think learning disability, I would think I could see them dicking around with somebody with an injured back They do that too, you know? Yeah, U.S. Yeah, but the learning disability, I would think that that would be, like, oh yeah, they'll put somebody right on there for addiction, depression, alcoholism. Oh yeah, right on. Get it just like that. Oh, you live in Michigan, huh? A lot of people in Michigan. A lot of people in Michigan. Now, see, Canada, don't they have the national medical care at least, right? But do they have, they must give you insurance though, Paragon, correct? I would hope so. Yeah, it's really crazy that people who have never worked, like, people, uh, you know, like, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but addicts or alcoholics, and if they've never worked at all and they're getting disability and they're getting, Medicaid, and old people who have worked their whole life, or somebody maybe not even old, but is injured or has cancer or whatever, and they can't get disability because these addicts have thought to get that, labeled as a disease when it's not. It's a choice. I'm sorry. It's a choice. People don't fall off the wagon of cancer. They don't go out and say, you know what? I'm feeling like a dose of cancer. They don't. Can't fight the temptation. I don't get tempted to get cancer. I don't get tempted to get, if my back got healed, to go out and hurt my back again. Um, when I have a client who has been on welfare for 10 years and I know they will never, then I take them down the disability route. Either way you look at it, it's coming from the taxpayers, right? Any way you look at it. Why are they on welfare for 10 years? I mean, if they were disabled, shouldn't they have been getting disability in the first place? That's all I'm saying. Why, like you're in Canada, they have welfare in Canada? I know they have the dole in England, and some of the things are the same, or they used to be anyway, in Canada to England. But, why would they not get gainful employment? What is the reason for being on welfare that will get them on disability? It doesn't, I just, and don't they have to have kids to have welfare? I don't know. I haven't been on welfare. When I was a kid, I believe my mother was. But what's their disability? If they've been on welfare for 10 years, okay? Now think about that. Welfare for 10 years, but not deemed disabled. I mean, it just seems to me like if somebody, the requirements for welfare here is not strict. I also have many clients who work full time and we top them up. That's what they should do. What you just said there, top them up. Because sometimes when you work full time and you got kids, right? But you're working full time, but you have kids, and then you've got to pay. A lot of clients fall through the crack, and so you're working full time. You've got kids, but now you don't. You don't fall. You don't. What's the word? You don't meet the requirements for help for a daycare. Okay? So now you don't meet the requirements for help for insurance. You make too much for food stamps. So now you're back, breaking your back to bring home not enough money to pay your rent anymore because, and that is but does it, the thing is, I remember when I was, living, in a apartment, it was, it would go up in rent every year, like $50, right? So it was up to almost $1,000 a month. And daycare, we have subsidized daycare. So if you make under 35,000, you have free daycare. See, and that's good. Where here, what you make and what they calculate as your expenses are not, it's not a good thing the way they do it. They will calculate like the tops you can get, as your income, I'm sorry, as your rental cost was $450 a month, right? No, and you know what though? It's better and that's because of I think that's because of the British rule. Because when they, in England, back in the early '80s when I lived in England, it didn't seem like there was uh, so much stress on people that, old people were homeless and eating cat food. They were taking care of their people. But so, say you're making $500 a week before taxes, and that's what they want to know. They want to know that, what your income is before taxes. Okay? So say you got $2,000 a week before taxes. Then they only allow you $475 a month for your rental expense. So say your rent is really $950 a month. They don't allow you to put $950 there. You can tell them it's $950, but all they're going to say that bill is $475. You can't live anywhere for $475 a month. Okay? So, now they're getting there in their mind, you still got $1,500 a month to play with when really all you got is $1,000. So now you don't know, you don't have $1,000 because that's before taxes. Before taxes. So you might only have $600 now left over after your rent, but you don't qualify for daycare anymore. You don't qualify for insurance anymore, and you don't qualify for food stamps. So yeah, I'm telling you, they don't even use after taxes. Not even after taxes. I mean, so their whole calculation. So I remember one time they were saying to me that they denied me because I didn't make enough to pay my rent anymore now, right? True, I wasn't. I was getting about $100 and something a week on unemployment at this time. So they denied me food stamps. This was years ago, okay? Because I didn't make enough to pay my rent, right? So wait a minute. Based on the way they would calculate my rent at before, based on the way they would calculate my rent before, I'd make just enough to pay my rent. But now I didn't make enough to pay my rent according to them because now they're including the whole amount of my rent. Now they're deducting that. Now I get the whole amount deducted. So they would say, well, you're denied help, benefits to help you because you're too poor, right? I said, wait a minute. No. Mm-mm. Nope. Absolutely not. Those were my two favorite words. Absolutely not. You don't get it both ways. You don't get it both ways. You don't get to calculate my rent at $450 a month when it was $950 a month. And then now calculated at $950 a month because this suits your purposes at this point. Nope. No, you don't. And the guy, he helped me out. He said, you're right, and blah, blah, blah. They don't get it both ways. And when I go to this doctor's appointment for the disability, you just wait, man. You just wait. Can't wait to get my time there. Can't fucking wait. Because I'm telling you, the fact of the matter is, telling me I may not be able to do what I used to do, but I can go get another job. So they'd see me or anybody else coming from their chemo treatment and going to sleep in a frickin' box under the bridge. Can you imagine getting your chemo? Yeah, I advocate every single day for my clients. It's literally the biggest part of my job. So many people don't know their rights for various reasons. It is true. A lot of people do not read the small print of things. And I think it's very advantageous for people to break out your magnifying glass or your reader glasses and read the small print. And do your research online and do not, don't call and be bitchy to people and yell and scream. Call and let them be your hero for the day. Because at the end of the day, they all want to feel like they made some kind of a difference in somebody's life. But nobody wants to do something for somebody that's yelling and screaming and, accusing them for rules they didn't make, But you might get somebody in that wants to make a difference. You might get somebody on the phone that wants to make a difference for you. And so just, change their day. I'm sure they probably get calls yelling at them all the time. Don't do that. They didn't make the rules, but they could possibly help you and point you in the right direction. So be kind to them because, they could be your hero, you know? Sometimes people don't even know how to read, and they don't tell anybody, and we don't know that. You know how difficult that must be to go through life not knowing how to read and not wanting to tell anybody? That would suck. That is one of the most important things in life, is knowing how to read, I think. It really is. If you don't know how to read, mm-mm-mm. um, that's where the school system fails people, especially nowadays. Um, they're focusing on all this math and everything that the parents can't even help their kids with their homework. It's so ridiculous. Like pi and all that shit. Come on, seriously. But they're not focusing on, English and reading as much as they used to and writing and all that, where I don't care if you're a rocket scientist, if I can't read your writing and you're using words in the wrong context or you're spelling wrong, I just don't care. It's not okay, And when I see somebody write, that instead of that, it just kills me. I am on an end homeless mission right now, and yes, literacy is is a huge factor. What does that mean? I am on an end homeless mission right now. Homelessness mission right now. What does that mean? And yeah, and that's the school's fault, the illiteracy. Because if you think about it, the age group now that's in their early to mid, the 20-year-olds, okay? That's the, I mean, this next generation, what is it? I tell potential landlords I will pay you the money directly if you house my client. Well, that's like Section 8, right? Yeah, that's like Section 8. Here they have Section 8, which in turn made all the rents go up because what they did was they were making them all Section 8. These landlords will make it all Section 8, and they can charge like $1,500 a month. You know, Now I don't know how Canada is. I do know that back in the 80s, they used to have council houses in England, I'm talking about, and homelessness was not a problem until it seemed that Maggie Thatcher wasn't prime minister anymore, and they started making them do that, that union, the European Union, where England was having to pay for everything for people like that were coming from these other countries that weren't contributing anything, but they were saying, oh, well, England, you wanted to be like the ruler of everyone, so now you're responsible for them all. And now you'll see that there's such a problem in England. It's not the way I remember it as when I was there in the early 80s. I will tell you that much. Because people, it just didn't seem like to me that there was a problem. I mean, doctors would make house calls. If you had a pain in your tooth, you'd go to the dentist. But now it just doesn't seem the same. But I haven't been back there in a long, long time. Last time I was there was 1985. I'd like to go to Canada. Um, but I think somebody said they're not letting anybody over the Canadian border lately, which is, I can't even get over this COVID shit. It's crazy. The opioid crisis here has increased homelessness over the past few years. Shelters are at capacity, emergency rooms are flooded. It's like nothing I've ever seen in my career. Lulu, I can't imagine that these pills that they are prescribing people, you get this Ambien, Ativan, Zoloft, lorazepam, all these things, and then now they start coming out with, oh, they're benzos, and benzo withdrawals could kill you. So then they're taking them off the benzos, and these people are like flipping. And I mean, what you, these doctors and do you know that heroin is patented by Bayer Company? The company that owns the patent for heroin is Bayer. Isn't that insane? Even that fentanyl, that is a pharmaceutical product. I mean, what the fuck? So the real drug kingpins are these pharmaceutical companies and the doctors. And the people that are suffering for it are the people that they prescribe the shit to. Hey Gary, how you doing? Video request, baby, come, but please do this. What? Baby, come, booger snot. Please act like a giant 7 on a. Um, Hey, Lulu, can you remove that comment from Gary Hansen? I can't remove that, but I know you're a mod. Can you get rid of that? I can't tell if you did. Let me know when you do. I'm gonna block him too. There, I blocked him. So I think I was able to get rid of it, right? Please, and hi back to you. Yeah, no, I'm not, not doing that. Yeah, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Some people are strange. Huh? Oh, wait. yeah, let's get rid of that guy. Yeah. Yeah, Lulu, I don't know why they're letting these pharmaceutical companies, and I don't mind that you're chatting away with me because it's like a conversation. I don't mind it at all. Um, why they are not looking into these pharmaceutical companies and what they are creating for these, people. I mean, it's just insane. It's insane. They're ruining people's lives and the amount of money that it takes from us as, you know, I see the millions and millions that some people have. Like, okay, Steven Spielberg, for instance, guy's worth anywhere from 3.9 to $6 billion. Okay, I don't think that what he does for work is necessarily um worth that pay rate. I mean, how much money does somebody need? The guy spent $184 million on. You're still here, right, Lulu? Are you? Just let me know that you are, and then I'm not just talking to myself. But the guy spent $184 million on. I had an emergency section 60 and refused pain meds over the counter with Iambic. Yep, that's what you have to do. You gotta refuse the pain meds. Refuse them, refuse them, refuse them. Refuse even for the depression. Refuse. Refuse. That's what you have to do. Because I'm telling you right now, they're just trying to get somebody else under their thumb. That's all. The pain that you're going to feel because of the pain meds in the future, and maybe not physical pain, but maybe, you know, but whatever is going to cost you is going to be way worse than going through a couple of weeks of recovery pain of just taking, from a surgery or something. You should have seen their faces when I wouldn't take their OxyContin at at the fucking at the hospital. Should have seen their faces. I said no, absolutely not. They're trying to give me it was OxyContin or morphine or something. I want to say it was OxyContin that they wanted to give me before they gave me, the surgery for the port, before they brought me in. They were, they come in with the little pill cup and they said, here, this is the OxyContin and this one here is, I don't know, Aleve or something. And I said, I'll take the Aleve, but I'm not going to take the OxyContin. And they're like, it's just one. I said, I don't want any, you know? And, so anyway, um, before you get your operation and they got you in pre-op, which is like, it's just, all these series of sectioned off, not even rooms. They're like using curtains to enclose you. And that's where you sign on the paper and they go over what's going on. And then the anesthesiologist comes in and he's got his two anesthesiologists, you know, assistants, right? and they come in, and they're two girls, and this one girl, she's just so laughy and giggly, and wasn't to my liking, right? Not that I said anything or anything, but I think even the doctor was kind of like, she throws her arm up on his shoulder and shit, just with her giggling. And I don't even think he was real impressed. So he like turns to the other one and has her go over the form, that I have to sign and all that. And so they, they come in, they give me some shot that's going to take effect by the time, they're doing the surgery. So I'm on one of those rollaway beds in this little sectioned off place with the curtain. And the one that was the giggly anesthesiologist assistant, she comes in, right? When I woke up, I vomited for hours. They gave me a script to go home, and then I got a bad burn. And I didn't know they take you right in. I mean, you go to the emergency room, and normally they make you wait. Not this time. They threw me right up on that stretcher, and I remember them wheeling me down the hallway really fast, and it was on my leg, and it would just turn into one big, huge blister on my thigh. And I remember them saying, "Give her morphine," you know. Um, the pain though was really bad, but that was the only time, it wasn't like I went home with a script for it or nothing. So what I was saying about this fast surgery when they put the port in. So, now I'm starting to get a little groggy, I guess, from this pill, but I don't even realize it. So anyway, so she comes in, the assistant anesthesiologist there that was giggly, and she says to me, she gets behind the bed because she's going to wheel me out, and she says, "Do you smoke marijuana on a daily basis, Tracy?" Or Miss Cop, whatever. You smoke marijuana on a daily basis, Tracy? And I'm thinking, what a weird freaking question that is, right? What are they mad because I won't take their freaking pain pills? So, let's say something rude to the pothead, which I didn't even say anything about smoking marijuana, right? I mean, it wasn't like I came in there with smoke rolling off my clothes or anything, right? So I said, when I have it, right? I didn't know what, yeah, I didn't know what to say to this woman other than the truth, right? Yeah, when I have it. So she goes, "You may as well be honest, Tracy." I was honest. Just told you. Yeah, when I have it, right? Yeah, it's legal here too, but I just thought it was a weird freaking question to be asking me. And then to tell me to be honest? How much more honest can I be? I just said, yeah, when I have it. I didn't say no. So what are you calling me a liar? What are you calling me a liar, lady? What, I gotta jump off this stretcher? Show you a good time? What do you want to do? Go smoke a joint in the bathroom? Right? I don't know. But I'm starting to now feel this injection that they gave me, which I didn't know that it was gonna make me, out like light. So she must have some hair across her ass about me. Because, she's calling me a liar, like my pot answer wasn't good enough for her. And she flies me through these curtains. She takes off like a bat out of hell, Lulu. Okay? Pushes me through these curtains. She doesn't even open them first, see if anybody's coming down the hallway. She turns the hospital bed I'm in, to make the corner. This thing's up on two wheels. I swear to God. She's flying down this corridor. My hair, she's going so fast, my hair is flying. My hair is blowing back. That's how fast she's going. Okay? Blankets are blowing off me. My Johnny is rising up. Okay? Frickin', I mean, that's how fast she's going. And so as she's going, towards wherever they're going to do the surgery, it's, obviously like a different part of the hospital. So, she's taking all these corners at 90 miles an hour. Fucking, I'm skidding everywhere. I'm holding on to the side of this bed for dear life. And, it's getting colder because it must be like more sterile in the North Pole, right? So, she's, we're down, heading towards North Pole, doing 90, and fucking, there's people standing out in the, hallway of the hospital, like waiting to get into the operating rooms. They must have been like the assistants, the surgical assistants, waiting for the doctors to show up. They can't go in the room till the doctor shows up. They've got, their like doctor outfits on with their little white coats and everything. I'm going so fast by them. Like I said, my hair is blowing back. Their coats are blowing. They're like flapping in the wind. Their coats. That's how fast I'm going. Their hair is blowing. That's how fast she's going by them. And then when they, finally, she takes this last corner up on two wheels, fucking leaving skid marks in the hall, gets to where my operating room is, doesn't even open the freaking double doors. She just kind of slams me through it. And that was the last thing I remember. I just wheeled to a stop in front of these people, and then I was out out. I could have been knocked out if I hit something, if I hit my head on something. Probably why that's the last thing I remember. She was freaking out to get me for, I don't know, wrong pot answer, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty scary about the umbilical cord wrapped around your baby's neck, huh? Some scary shit. Your kids it's scary. Having kids is the moment you allow your heart to walk around outside of your body unprotected. And that's a scary thing. No matter what. It's good to have more than one kid, though, I would think. I only had the one. But my friend said today, that's why you should have had more than one kid. Because a lot of times, she's 25. She was living out in Boston. She's got her life. And your kids are still young. You're lucky, too. How many kids do you have? I'm sorry. How many kids do you have, Lulu? It's funny. I'll wait for you to answer like we're on the phone or something. Sometimes I forget that I'm, when I have like a panel on there and I can hear, other people talking, so it's like a phone call. I'll forget that it's, not a phone call. And I'll just be talking away. And then later when I listen back to the replay, I'll be like, oh shit. I said that on, live stream. Like I forgot that we weren't on the phone. Funny. So I woke up screaming for my baby. It was the scariest time of my life. I have two. Both were great pregnancies, but terrible labor and birth. See, my birth, having her it wasn't bad at all. Like they did, what do they do? The spinal. I forget epidural. That doesn't bother me, no secret. Yeah, I don't have really any secrets either. Like but I mean, like I'll think that I'm talking about. Like I was saying something prudently one time, and I said, yeah, but I think it was when I was talking about ordering from a Chinese restaurant or something, and then I was doing some like imitation, and then later on, when I was listening to the replay, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that was here I was doing that imitation. Currently it's home, I guess. Um, she's still got kids in school, and she's married. I used to love getting Chinese food. When my mother would get Chinese food, it was like such a treat. She would get. I remember she always got beef fried rice, golden fingers, and she would get. She liked spare ribs with the bone. Yeah, she liked the spare ribs with the bone. You haven't been here lately. We had the guests sometimes on the live streams, the UFO stuff, the last couple of nights. I don't think you were here. I don't remember you being here. Tommy Highway and UFO Man came on last night, and Saturday nights they do a live stream. Um, it's a good live stream too. It's on UFO Man channel, and yeah, pretty good. He just came back from. Well, Tommy did. He just came back from Roswell, Area 51 there. Uh, so they were, doing some talking up there last night. Like I said, how do you think I'm doing, like, with it being, not the regular, drama thing, of, yeah, UFO Man. Yeah, I dropped the link on last night's videos in the comments. That, like, I dropped UFO Man link and Tommy Highway, and also a video that UFO Man did about UFO sightings over a lake in Michigan. So I thought that would be pretty interesting for, since we all have some common denominator, I guess. But yeah, I was getting to the point where, all the live streams that I was seeing was, this one, this and this and this and this. So much drama that I was not getting what I wanted out of conversation, you know? Um, yeah, and yeah, that without drama is great. Yeah, and so because I like to research so many different topics, I thought maybe, it'd be best if I just did my own live streams and talked about what basically I, you know, anybody wants to talk about other than, you know, uh, right? I know, Lulu. Right? Isn't that crazy? Everybody says they don't like drama, and yet in reality, it seems there's very few people who really mean that. Like, here's me and you, and then, uh, sometimes, other people will stop in, but that's probably why I haven't been getting really any trolls or anything, because there's nothing for them to record here. You know, there's nothing for them to screenshot and record and, repeat. Yeah, I'll probably come back on later on tonight. Like I said, I keep wanting to do a trivia one. And like announcing what the subjects will be so people can like read up on something, or at least will be prepared or know if they don't want, to whatever. But yeah, I And you know, I try to like look and see and make sure nobody else is having a live stream, so that sometimes some other people's are more, you know, busier. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that'd be great. I could drop a link. I could have dropped a link today. I learned how to do it. Finally letting me. I don't know if it has something to do with now that I paid for it, but I decided to pay because I was liking the live streams too much. That their 20 free hours was done, and I thought, I'm gonna get you know. Well, if you're gonna join later, if you can, you know, because I like to make one of those little announcements. I don't know if you've seen them. My little you know, by picture, you know, and I'll put it up and say what time my live streams are gonna be. Um, and we could talk about Canada and things we were talking about, you know, with the disability problems and things like that. Uh, and if you can actually, I can't, you know, I get like a brain freeze on certain words. I commit to a time. Like if I could put a time, um, I can announce you as my guest and announce like the topic, and you could talk about what we were talking about today and any other random topics too. But I find that people like it. Well, you mean me, right? Like you'll join with me, right? Because it might just be me and you, and then people will come in, hopefully. But up on the panel, you're talking, right? No, don't say that, because I like people like when there's somebody on the piano. You know, I just mean, you know, with special guests. um, because you know that way people. I just like to announce that I'm having one because it seems like people then they can set the reminder and everything, and it's not like a random one. I just, you know, like what's your, you know, we could talk about like, did you grow up in Canada? And like how it was going to school in Canada, um, the food in Canada. You know, we could talk about being Canadian. You know, people, they are inquisitive about all kinds of categories, you know, all kinds of topics. I think more people than we think like to get away from the drama channel. You know, you can only listen to that so much. All right. Well, let's talk about Canada. And you know what? And I'm going to say this, even though I hate to bring up Bigfoot, but there's so many Bigfoot sightings in British Columbia. Have you been to British Columbia? Didn't you say you grew? No, you said Nova Scotia, right? That you grew up in Nova Scotia. But I can't get over how many. Now, are you Indian? You know, like, because you look a little Indian. Because you're dark like that. You look like you have dark, you know, skin tone. Like you get tan. You look like you get tan. Do you get tan? Easy. And do they drive on the same side of the road in Canada? Yeah, it seems like there is. Now, is it real like wilderness like in British Columbia? What do you know of? I think my grandma has roots. Oh, you were adopted. So you don't know. You could be Indian, right? Because that's interesting. Have you ever tried to find your birth parents, or have you ever wanted to? And what? Oh, okay, I got questions. And how old were you when you found out you were adopted? I'm waiting for you. I didn't do the DNA thing. And I don't like that DNA thing. I feel like I feel like that gives too much power to people, I don't know, I don't like it. Now, I wonder if they did looking for you, but because you didn't, they said oh, you did the DNA thing, or you didn't. British Irish? Your hair is brown though, right? You look like do you tan easily? Like, do you get dark? Oh, you do? Did you know her? You, how did you find out you're biologically? Yep, brown hair and blue eyes. What a great combination. You don't find a lot of people with brown hair and blue eyes. So much love. Oh, hi, Minnie. How are you? Much love to you. We were just talking about Lulu's ancestry. Yeah, see, so that tanning easy. I think you've got French Canadian, the French Canadian Indian. And the French, they're got, for some reason, French people will tan easy too. And, but as for English and Irish, they don't tan easy. They burn. I feel like you got, now what about, my dad is French, I heard. Um, okay, do that thumbs up, Minnie. Ha, ha. Um, so what happened with your biological mom? How old were you when you met her? If you don't mind me asking. And did you like your adoptive parents? And I wonder if that makes, that whole genealogy thing that they offer people now. I always thought like that adoptions were, like a matter of supposed to be privacy for people. And now it seems with those genealogy sites that it's not really like I was watching one show the other day. I was adopted to my mom's sister, so I stayed in the family. So I basically raised them. Oh, all right. Yeah, okay. So you weren't. Oh, okay. Got a lot of people they do that. Their aunt takes them, but still looking for my papa. Sometimes it's just better not to. My father, he was married and he was cheating on his wife. I was a product of his infidelity, and just at the end of the day, when he passed away, he was being sued for statutory rape when he died. So I think to myself, I'm probably better off not having him in my life. Like some people would say stuff like, oh, oh, how sad you didn't have a dad in your life. But I think, yeah, but it could have been so much worse. Like he could have been in my life and been a molester, you know? And I'd never get that out of my head. I'd much rather be, able to fill the role of a father with Charles Ingalls, Pa from Little House on the Prairie, you know, than than, some molester. You wouldn't get those um, memories. I mean, I'd be so screwed up. Yes, my mom had me when she was 17 and was forced to give me up because of the wedlock Catholic families in the 80s. Oh my God, still going on in the 80s. Isn't that incredible? Thank God for your aunt then. Honest to God. You know something? That's so incredible to me that still goes on in the 80s and in Canada, mind you. Um, People don't believe that or don't know, especially if they came from a two-parent family that was married, they would never, ever in their wildest imagination know that goes on. You know, I actually myself live in a state, one of the only two states left that goes by the law of that there's no laws for illegitimate children in the state of Massachusetts. So when I was being born in '68, uh, the lady said, when she was filling out the birth certificate, yes, a bastard. Exactly. That's what I was just about to say, Lulu. That when my mother was, doing the nurse was there to fill out my birth certificate and ask, her name and her maiden name. And my mother said, her full name, whether married, but she was never married to my father, but she was married, for a while to my siblings' father. I have four siblings, or had anyway. And so she had been married to their father. She had his last name still, but they were divorced. So when the lady said, and what is the baby's father's name? And she said, my father's name. And the nurse said to my mother, are you married to him? And she said, no. And she said, well, I'm going to have to put bastard then on my birth certificate. So my mother said, oh no. Then her father is, and she said it was, my siblings, her ex-husband. She's acting like, she didn't even ask if she was still married to him just because her last name was the same. So as long as that last name was the same, it was fine if they were divorced, evidently. But yeah, she was going to put bastard on my birth certificate, the nurse. And my mother said no. And she changed, she said, my father was her ex-husband. Uh, and they accepted that right off, even though he wasn't my father. And that gave my father, my real father, a protection from having to pay any child support at all. He was protected. He never had to pay a dime. And do you know he was a millionaire? He's a millionaire. Never had to pay a dime. I grew up on welfare, and he never had to pay a dime. But I'll tell you what, if you're poor and you have a kid out of wedlock and it's going to get welfare, oh, they'll force you then to frickin' take a DNA test because you're poor. And the guy can't afford an attorney. He's not rich. He doesn't get the same benefits as the rich guy. Because if you're rich, the woman gets looked at like a gold digger. They still do that. Isn't that incredible? The woman is the gold digger. And he had enough money to know the law that as long as he did not acknowledge me in any way as his kid, he would never have to pay child support. Not a dime. And welfare didn't care that for some rich guy. They were, paying. So then, he passes away. And like I said, to contest the will or anything, no laws for illegitimate children in the state of Massachusetts. Doesn't matter. And he also had signed everything over to his wife because he was being sued for statutory rape before he died. Somewhere out there, I've got some other sibling too. So then he turns around and, not he's dead. But then, and apparently when I was a baby, my mother brought me to his house and knocked on his door, and his wife answered the door. And my mother said, this is your husband's baby. And she said, do you think that shocked me? She goes, I could tell you stories about my husband that would make your toes curl. Isn't that awful? Yeah. So, anyway, a few years ago, it was a while ago. I don't know, maybe 2014 or something. 2014. My brother is in a band. I did see my dad a couple of times, but I always felt so uncomfortable around him. Like, I don't know. He would ask weird questions like, you know, did I start my period yet and things, He never touched me. But, when he would send me like a birthday card, it wasn't signed. He'd never sign it. It was just blank inside, maybe with $20 in there. And, yeah, it was probably better that I didn't, but yeah, oh shit, where was it at? Oh yeah, so he had two sons, my father. He was married. He had two sons. Now, when I read his obituary, I actually felt a little more prouder of him than I did for the things I knew about him that I was told from my mother, you know. Um, but he actually was a decorated gunner's mate in World War II, which I think that's pretty commendable, especially, because he's Jewish and, there it must feel pretty good to, you know, uh, doing that as a Jewish person, saving the Jews over there. And plus, I mean, a gunner's mate, that's pretty difficult. Like, you just, you're there freaking loading those bullets and everything. But he also was a pioneer in the field of cryogenics for tooling. So that was pretty commendable. And my grandfather invented less oil. I don't know. They don't use it much, anymore. It was sold for like a couple of billion or something. But if there had been any laws for illegitimate children, I'd be very wealthy. Let's put it that way. So my father owned a tooling company, and he actually had two sons, one of which went to live in Texas and became a state trooper. And then the other one who stayed around here and was running the business now. Huge tooling company. It's been around for a very, very long time. Pretty successful. So, my brother Will, now I never met either one of them. Never. They were very much older than me. When I was born, like my brother, hey, do that to him. You're mean. You're a mean dog. My brother, the one that went to Texas, my mother used to say all the time, oh, you look a lot like him, tall and thin with the brown hair, brown eyes. And he became a state trooper. And I remember I was about 10 or 11 years old, and there was a really bad heat wave in Texas. And he is a state trooper taken radar on the side of the road and had his air conditioning going in his cruiser. And there was carbon monoxide leaking in through the air conditioning, and he died. They found him dead on the side of the road. So that left the one brother left. Now he's a musician. He plays the saxophone, but he also went to Northwestern, and like I said, the business is his, just his. Now he had a couple of kids himself, but so uh, I'm rambling. Make a long story long. To make a short story long, anyway. So I reach out to him. I send him a friend request on Facebook. Now let me just tell you, first of all, when I was 16 and my sister had passed away, I figured, all right, well, his brother passed away, my sister passed away. I looked up his address. This is when I was 16. So this was a while ago. This was in 1984. So I looked up his address. My brother went and knocked on his door, and his wife answered. And I said, I'm here to see Mark Borowski. Oh, I said the name, whatever. Fake name, that's a fake name. Whatever. I don't care if people know what his name is. I'm tired of being a dirty little secret of that family. You know that? I really am. I really am. Because I didn't do anything wrong. It's like I pay for the sins of the father, you know? So, anyway, um, so they say, his wife said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm his sister." She said, "Oh, my husband doesn't have any sisters." Am I boring you to death, Lulu? Just tell me if I am. She said, "My husband doesn't have any sisters." I said, "Oh, he does." So she closes the door, and it's one of those, with the glass, the front door with like a big glass thing, and there's a long foyer and a curtain over the glass. So she's, I'll get him, closes the door, and I see this shadow coming down the hall. Tall, big. My father was tall and kind of big. I didn't think my father was, the most attractive person in the world. Let's put it that way. Thankfully, I got my mother's side. So, although I am tall with the darkness and the brown hair and the brown eyes. So, this big, huge shadow comes towards the door. He opens it. He doesn't say, "Who are you?" He doesn't say anything like that. He says, "Why are you here?" So I know he knew about me. And I said, "Well, I just wanted to see you." And he said, you saw. And he shut the door. Yeah. Yeah, he shut the door. And then, so, like I said, so, okay, fine. So that goes, so, whatever. So then in 2014, Facebook comes along. I see that he's got like a love for music. Um, you know, we seem to have things in common. Oh, don't be. It's probably for the best. Whatever. I think it has something to do with the fact that how much money is involved with that side. That they feel like if they acknowledge me, that probably was in his dying wishes to him. He said probably said, never acknowledge her or we'll owe her something. I mean, they really need to change that because for me, it's not even about money or anything. I mean, I've adjusted. Um, but it does kind of piss me off when if I'm working somewhere and they treat me like shit. And I think to myself, if it wasn't for that shitty law, I could probably buy that business outright from under that person that's treating me like shit. I mean, we invented less soil. Like my father was a multi-millionaire. And I'm not allowed any of it because he blew his load and I'm just, screwed. Yeah. and it sucks to be treated like a dirty little secret too. You know, I'm their dirty little secret. I didn't do anything wrong. So, so anyhow, with Facebook, I see that my brother has a love of music, you know, all this shit. I think, okay, all right, let's try this again. So I send him a friend request. Well, he accepts it. I think, oh, that's pretty cool. So now, mind you, this is back in like 2014, I want to say. It was a while ago, you know. So I message him, and I realized that you know it's not like we can be like, oh, this is my long lost sister, or this is. I know it's not going to be any you know reunion like that, okay? But I did want to just you know let him know like how my daughter was and hear about his family, you know, just to be part of something. So he doesn't respond. I said, oh, how nice that you accepted my friend request. And I tell him a little bit about my daughter, and I tell him just what I told you. You know, I realize you can't just be, you know, um, my whole life, family member, something isn't adding up. This day and age, anyone should be easy to find. And you're right about that. We sound like we have a lot in common because I'll tell you something after I finish what happened with my brother. Um, you know, do you want to come on the panel now? Do you want me to drop the link now? Let me know and I can drop the link and you can come up. I know there's a couple watching and not talking, but I mean, you know, at least it can be a conversation and, you know, whatever. But yeah, so he doesn't respond to my message. And I said, you know, I understand that, you know, we can't. So a few months go by, like maybe 2 months, and he still doesn't respond to my message. It's not like I put it right on Facebook or anything. You know, I didn't put it right out there. This is privately. And then finally he responds and um, he says, because of my band and my, and you know, okay, I get it. That's understandable. Thank you, Lulu. But he says, because of my band and what's going on with my music, I've been accepting lots of friend requests. And unfortunately, that's what happened when I accepted yours. And he said, and although I can see how it might be intriguing, this subject might be intriguing, but I do not feel that it is a good path for us to pursue. I wish you success in your future endeavor. And that was it. And he really got me with that. Unfortunately, this is what happened with you. Um, so yeah, that kind of pissed me off, you know, because now it got me to the point where okay, for me, I kind of feel like why should they get every now to me I am a little pissed off because if it is about um money for them, then maybe I should make it about money for me. Like, why should I be fighting for disability and going through all this and they get everything? I didn't do anything wrong. I was just born into that and it should be, I should get what's rightfully mine. He shouldn't be, you know, him and his kids and his grandkids be set for life while I'm struggling with cancer and nothing, you know, fighting for disability by people that cold that have done nothing but make me feel like, um, you don't want to start opening a can of worms and protecting myself. Yeah, it's not like I feel being abandoned. I feel like I've been excluded. I mean, like excluded my whole life. Like I was always the dirty little secret. Like you were saying about something not adding up. Sometimes I think so whacked out. But my sister that passed away, that I'm her daughter. Sometimes I feel like that because she's the one who used to. She would have me do a separate Christmas list for her, and she would cry every Christmas, and it had something to do with me. And my mother, I don't know. She used to call me the devil spawn, demon seed. And then I was talking to my sister the other day, and my sister Linda passed away. She said that my my mother and my father brought her down to, I think it was North Dakota or something, where they were living with their father, right? And it was nighttime, I'm sorry, and they were in bed, her and Kara, her and my sister. And my sister Linda said, I've got a secret. And, she was like 14, whatever. Kara was like 16. And she said, Mom had another baby, but she doesn't want anyone to know. Why would she not want anyone to know? Why would my mother not want anyone to know? Isn't that weird? Like, what were they planning on doing with me? Doesn't want anybody to know. Like, so weird. What time do you think you'd want to come back on? If you were to come back on, what would be a good time for you? It's 7:30 here. I don't know what time it is there. Like, what time's good for you? If you seriously want to, because I think this whole uh conversation. Oh, we have the same time. I think this whole conversation is very interesting, and I'd love for you to be able to tell your story, without having to type it all out and everything. 10-ish is always good. I can get my daughter in bed. So, do you want to say 10:30? My son plays. Okay, so. Oh, hi, Ron. How are you? We were just talking about what time to do a live stream tonight. We were just about to end this one, but we're gonna do one tonight. 10:30 is great. Okay, so I can put like I don't even have to say a special guest or whatever on there, but just so I can announce it, like how I do my little announcements on my channel, like so that way people can set the reminder. Okay, so that sounds good. 10:30. Um, Ron, even if you want to come up on the panel, you can. I think what we're gonna do is talk about. Um, we're gonna talk about. Yeah, don't say that. Just say love at 10:30. Love, love at 10:30. We will talk about whatever. Yeah, Canada. We'll talk about that whole law of a bastard, and the whole like you said, the Catholic Church, that was in the 80s, and I definitely want to hear more about that because I knew it was going on in the 60s. And I got to tell you, my friend was born in 68 as well. And her mother got put in jail as a spoiled child, but she was 21 years old, and so she wasn't a child. She was actually worked a full-time job, but she wasn't married, and they were going to force her to put the baby up for adoption. But her boyfriend at the time, whatever, got you know, and he was going to have to go to jail. You hear yourself, but not like you turn your YouTube off and you'll hear yourself, just like we're having a phone call. That's all. And when you go in, I'll tell you right now. So when you go in, it'll say, the link. I'll drop the link. You hit that, and then it'll say, okay, you're in the back room, right? And it'll give you three options at the bottom: mic, camera, and something else. I don't know. The middle one, you you click the camera one so that it turns pink and puts an X through the camera, unless you want to be on camera. If you don't and you just want your avatar, like mine, then you just click that so that it's pink with a line going through it. And you'll see that it will change from camera to avatar. And then you just hit enter live stream. And, but it gives you that option to turn the camera off. You'll know because they'll go a line through it when you click it, and you'll flip the avatar. Okay, so whatever you want to do, you could be on camera, off camera, avatar. Now, what state are you in, Ron? If you don't mind me asking, because I'm so amazed that in the 80s they were still doing that to women. Yeah, but with your complexion and your features, you're probably beautiful, just natural with the brown hair and the blue eye. Oh, New Mexico. Oh, how interesting. Now, do you like have you ever been to Roswell and all that and all that, atomic bomb testing there and all that? Now, New Mexico, is that really a poor state? I like to watch that guy. He has a channel that does the oh, you've been to Roswell, yeah? And now I find it okay, I appreciate that, but no, tanning salons are not open and I'm going to go. Still though, the brown hair and the blue eyes, I mean, that's such a great combination. It really is. Um, I find it weird that the that because UFOs are really what it's abbreviation unidentified flying object, right? So it could be anything. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's from outer space, to say UFO. It's just unidentified. So I find it weird, because I've been doing a little research because, I had a few people on that were, UFO interest and everything. And I was doing a little research about it. And the sightings of UFOs increased during World War II and, all the Manhattan Project, all that stuff. It increased. Wouldn't it make sense that it was either, our own government testing things or some other, like spy kind of things to, fly over where most of our testing sites were located? Like, wouldn't that make sense that that's why it was occurring, was because they were trying to gather information or test these things that were going on? been doing the whole supernatural thing since Bigfoot UFO. It's crazy what pops up when you research one thing. It's like going down a rabbit hole, isn't it, Lulu? It's going down a rabbit hole. I mean, man, I when I started, looking into all that stuff and everything, I go from one to the other to the other to the other, and I think, holy crap, how does this shit just fall through the holes? I mean, it's like huge. And I think about it. If you were somebody, if you were somebody you love went missing, right? And then, okay, the search is called off. And what is that thing keep popping up all over the world? Yeah. And I mean, but I think if I was somebody who had a loved one that went missing and, you know, nobody wanted to hear about it when your, starts with an M and that thing keeps popping up all over the world. Starts with an I'm so lost with an M. Oh my god, I'm so lost. Monster? No. Military? No. I don't know. Starts with an F. Here I am thinking I'm good at trivia and I don't even know. um, but when they say, okay, it's called off, or they're not gonna do this, they're not gonna do that, the authorities are gonna do this, that, and the other thing. What are those? Monoliths. I never even heard of that. What are those? Yeah, Ron, you could talk about what you see up in the sky tonight in New Mexico. What are monoliths? Am I even saying that right? I've never heard of that. I will definitely look that up. Definitely. Now you're gonna make me go down some weird statue thing. Okay, wait a minute. Is it a statue of a demon? Is it a statue of a demon? And they literally are calling it like freedom of religion? Is that what it is? Because if it is, I saw that and I thought, are you kidding me? Oh, no one knows who put it there? Oh, that's different now. I gotta write that down right now. Hold on, where's my pen? I actually went out and bought a notebook because I have got to. I gotta write this down right now. Monolith. Oh, I'm so excited. I gotta look that up because no, it's like a statue of nothing. What do you mean a statue of nothing? But they are putting statues up of demons now too, and calling it freedom of religion. And people who are into Satanism are, like these churches of Satanism are getting like tax-free status. Isn't that crazy? So I'm gonna make the line. Okay. It looks like a big red condo, but not. Huh. I will be back at 10:30. Yep. So, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to schedule it for 10:30. I'm going to put the announcement out, and we're going to talk about monoliths and other stuff. Monoliths, New Mexico skies, and other random topics. So, 10:30 it is. Peace, love, and tacos. Can't wait to see you guys. Bye. And I'm going right now to check out Monolith. I'm excited. Bye, Lulu. Bye, everybody. Bye, Ron. Peace, love, and tacos. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.